everybody, it's Caroline and I'm joined once again by Ali.
Hiya.
We have our TO hats on, except you don't. Where's your hat?
I don't know.
Okay, never mind. It's time for League Legends patch 9.3. So kicking us off, I want to ask you, as always, what's going on with the balance changes to our champions?
So this patch is kind of small compared to last patch where we had tons going on. This is one of Riot's kind of one big patch, one small patch, one big patch kind of changes. So we're pretty limited on champion balance changes. Biggest changes are coming to Vi and Irelia. So with Irelia, we've got changes to a few tweaks to her passive, whereas with her W, we're seeing more changes. So whereas previously Defiant Dance would block everything, it blocked magic damage, true damage, physical damage, it now blocks slightly more. It blocks 50% instead of 40%, but will block only physical damage, apparently. So, you know, it won't be a get out of jail free card in absolutely every situation. With Vi, the changes are a bit more interesting. So she's getting tweaks to almost everything in her kit, but the things that I want to focus on the most are to her W, her passive, and her ultimate. So her passive is now getting buffed quite significantly. It'll shield her for more, the cooldown is coming down, but now procs of her W will reduce the cooldown even further, so when she's doing early jungle clear, she'll have a great time because she'll be constantly getting her passive shield, she'll take less damage as she goes through. Good times for everybody, apart from the jungle creeps. For her ultimate, things are changing as well, so she won't do damage to secondary targets anymore. She'll pick out her target, she'll zoom towards them, no one will take damage apart from that first target, but everyone around her will be more disrupted, so there'll be more CC, they'll be knocked back further and for a longer period of time, so it will be more disruptive if a bit less damaging.
Okay, so in terms of balances for champions, there wasn't really a lot changing, but tell me about items, because there's a lot more going on, isn't there?
Yeah, particularly for an AD carry, patch 9.3 is full of changes. So almost all the items that an AD carry would be typically picking up are getting tweaked, from almost the lowest level, the lowest tier items, right up to things like Infinity Edge, Runar's Hurricane, massive changes. A lot of these are focused on price changes, so because Zeal, which is a low tier AD carry crit chance item, is going down, a lot of relevant items are seeing their costs decreased, slightly tweaked. Not massive changes, kind of 100 or 200 gold, but potentially impactful in the early game. The most interesting thing, however, is the changes to Phantom Dancer. So this is a high tier AD carry item that gives you crit chance, gives you attack speed, and it used to give you movement speed, and some of that is now changing. So it will now have two completely different unique passives to what it previously had. So basic attacks will grant you Ghost for a few seconds. The thing I'm most interested in though is Lifeline. So this is a passive that people will recognise from items like Hex Drinker and More of Malmortius, but it'll apply to all damage, not just magic damage. So the idea is that when you take damage that would drop you below 30% health, you will gain a shield that kind of mitigates some of that damage for a very short period of time. I think for AD carries that's a really big deal because they are the most vulnerable to just being completely burst apart by assassins. So something that they would build normally, like it's a pretty core item for a lot of traditional AD carry builds that's going to give them a shield, going to give them a bit of protection. I think it's a really impactful change.
Okay, so that covers everything from patch 9.3. It's been quite a small patch,
yeah,
but I mean, a lot's been changing, a lot's been kind of, there are lots of things planned in the future.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about that? Okay,
so Riot told us at the end of last week that they are finally giving Mordekaiser the update that we've been waiting for ages. He's really needed it for quite a long time, and we now definitely know that it's coming. Okay,
so they're fully updating his kit, right? So what do you think we can expect to see?
So lead producer Ryan Morales over the weekend, or kind of just on Friday night, said that he's going to be transformed from the bot lane ideal that they've been kind of pointing him towards for a while, back into the AP top lane juggernaut that he was always kind of promised as, and he always kind of looked like. What that means is essentially he'll definitely not have his XP sharing passive. So that, you can write that off, I think, almost immediately. I would also be surprised if, given that they're moving him to top lane, if they let him keep his dragon ultimate, basically, whereas he could cast his ultimate on anybody, including the dragon, to get a ghost copy of them. I really don't think that's going to happen going forward. I'd like to see it happen because it's really cool, but I think it's a bit of a big ask. Other than that, they might be changing some of his shields around, but I couldn't tell you beyond that. But we do know that everything, I think, will be getting changed. They said he needed a lot of work going forwards.
Yeah, okay. But what I really want to know, and I think what everybody's thinking, when are we going to see all this happen?
I don't know. It's always tricky, particularly with reworks, and they stuffed a lot of reworks into the end of last year. What I would say is that given some of the other timings we've seen, maybe a kind of, and given that this is a strong confirmation, like this is definitely happening next, I'd guess kind of late February, early March, but that is literally a guess.
And something really, really exciting, there is a new support on the horizon.
Yes. So again, this all comes from Ryan Morales in a recent champion roadmap. Riot had already sort of teased with like this one brief image of a new support champion, but we now know that they will be a traditional enchantress, and Morales kind of called directly back to Nami, who was the last character like this. A very kind of whimsical, slightly kind of very natural, traditional support that we literally haven't seen in 6 years.
Yeah, okay, but like, what do you think we could see with that? I mean, it sounds really cool, she sounds really exciting, but what do you think she might actually be like, or to play as?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, so far we've only had one single teaser image, and it's just of a book that's kind of glowing with this magical energy, and it doesn't look like any of the other books in the game. I cross-referenced it like the massive League of Legends nerd that I am, and honestly, I can't tell you. I think that we're going to see someone sort of similar to Lulu in some ways, but we've also been told that we should expect to see new mechanics. So at this point, there's so little to go on that I wouldn't even feel happy guessing.
So we basically have no idea. But like, when do you think, I know it's going to be hard to say, but like, when do you think we can maybe expect to see her come out?
I would guess, based on what we saw with Silas and the fact that, we first got hints of him back in August and he's just come out with patch 9.2, I would say that we would expect to see them maybe in like May or June, kind of give them 5 months now that they've definitely confirmed it, to make sure that's all out of the way and go through the normal testing and further PvE cycles. So yeah, early summer for this next new champion.
And the final thing I really want to talk about is the new cinematic that came out, right? It looked absolutely incredible. I'm sure all of you at home will agree. Ali, what did you think? I
loved it. I think Awaken is generally one of the best things they've ever put out. And this comes off the back of 2018, where they did the KDA video. I think particularly how it brings champions we've not seen to life. The moment where Kennen kind of zips through all the Noxian soldiers, that was fantastic. I loved that, and even the characters that we have seen loads of times before, the Dravens and the Yasuos, seeing them brought to life with even kind of more visual fidelity than ever before was just fantastic.
And we saw, glimpses of like a wider world and all the different champions that are in there. What I really want to ask you, and it's a bit of a long shot as well, but could we be looking at a League of Legends MMO from this? Can we see maybe little tease bits in there? What do you think?
So the whole MMO thing comes from something that co-founder Mark Merrill tweeted out kind of summer last year, saying, would you guys want to play a League of Legends MMO? And I think that we have no idea whether they're actually going to be working on that, but something like Awaken that shows these characters kind of living the way they actually would in the worlds that they would live in does kind of point me in that direction. I think it is a little bit wishful thinking, but it suggests that they are at least trying to bring those worlds to life in a way that they haven't ever before.
Okay, so that's everything that you need to know about the League of Legends patch 9.3 and just a few extra bits that we thought that we'd throw in there just for you. Let us know if you'd like to see League of Legends MMO and what you'd like to see in it too, of course.
If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.